Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Quality Living Show. I am Amanda Whittemore. This is Quality Living with Peaceful Support, a moment to get to know people a little bit more than just passing by or a hi here and a hi there. Gives us a couple of minutes to invite different guests or people in town to hear a little bit more about their story and about how quality living is for them and what they have brought to the community or what the community has brought to them. We've had doctors, we've had dentists, yoga teachers, just neighbors in town, and today we have Jeff
Knutson.
Oh, hi, Jeff Knutson. How
Hi.
are you?
Good.
All right. Glad you made it in the studio today.
Thank you.
Yeah. How exciting. And Knutson, that sounds like it sounds from Wisconsin or something over in the Middle East.
Well, not quite the Middle East, but
Well, of America, pardon me.
the middle of Central America. No, that's just as bad.
Perfect.
We'll get it right.
All right. So where are you from?
Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah.
All right. How exciting.
Yeah, by Oshkosh.
Okay. And what was that like?
It was nice. That's where I met my wife, and she's born and raised in Oshkosh, and we have been married a long time now.
Oh, gosh. How sweet. That's kind of a specialty.
Yes.
Nice. How old were you guys when you got married?
25.
Oh, how fun. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Well, and how the heck did you guys make it all the way to Brookings, Oregon?
Well, she's been looking at Oregon for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So on vacation, we'd come over to Oregon, take a look, and in the Medford area. And then the fires kind of hit, and she wasn't so hot on that, and took a look at Brookings, and we really like the weather in Brookings because it's so consistent and cool.
Mm-hmm.
And found a nice condo on the beach and loving it in Brookings.
All right. Sweet. What is the weather like in Wisconsin?
Well, it'll get cold. It'll get, not so much anymore with climate change, but it used to get, 20 and 30 below.
Oh, my gosh.
You don't see that much anymore, but and this winter was really mild. It, it's so cold in Wisconsin. We drive on the lakes.
Whoa.
Yeah, we have a city called Sturgeon Spearing on Lake Winnebago, and trucks are all there with little shanties, and they sturgeon spear. And the way you practice the sturgeon spear is you sit at a TV set, not on, and you stare at it for 8 hours. Then you start increasing the time so you can do it all day long.
Uh-huh.
Because that's what you do is you sit there with the spear in the water, and you're looking at this big hole in the ice that's about 6 by 6 feet, and you're waiting for a sturgeon to come by, and you spear it.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're successful?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then they close the season when there's so many are caught.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Huh.
So.
Activities in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Sounds
Well, and then there's others. That's the big thing is the sturgeon spearing, but there's other, regular ice fishing and all different areas in, Wisconsin, Minnesota,
Yeah.
all in there. So.
Wow. That sounds pretty fun. How about your activities in this area?
A lot of yoga and bridge.
Yoga and bridge. That's a lot of quality.
Yeah.
Fun. How about when you were on your path to getting here? What did you do before you got here?
I was a contractor, energy efficiency contractor, so we made commercial and residential buildings more energy efficient. So we had basically what's called air sealing, which is tightening up the air barrier.
Oh.
So that's the actual air moving in and out of the building. The worst example I've seen of Brookings mild weather is the Rec Gym and Brookings Furniture, I think it's called. they have single glazed windows. They have a huge gap between the roof and the walls.
Right.
And in the yoga room there, if the wind's blowing off the ocean, it's freezing cold in there.
Yeah.
And that's because the air barrier is no good.
Okay.
So the actual air moving in and out of a building.
Huh. Interesting. And when did you go to school for that? Did you study for that?
No, because when I got into it, it was a new science. So it was just, I studied by Focus on Energy is the program that kind of started it and got me interested in it, and then we went from there.
Yeah. Wow. Air-bearing system.
It's called the air barrier.
Air barrier, okay.
Okay, that's what you're sealing, so you're actually filling the gaps between the inside and the outside. So we put a blower door in the building, which pushes the air out of the building, or you can push it in, but it's easier to push it out, and then you feel the cold air coming in, and that's where you plug. And you actually, there's measurements that tell how leaky a building is, so you can compare any building to any other buildings by cubic feet per minute per square foot of floor space, or cubic foot. So there's, different ways, but it's all a way of seeing what the air barrier is. And that's the first thing to be done and the cheapest thing to do for making your house more energy efficient.
And that's for any building?
Any building, yeah. There's very few. Actually, the real older buildings we found were much tighter than the newer buildings, and some of the newer buildings were just terrible. And, we'd get called in because they couldn't keep it hot or cold. One day it'd be hot, next day it'd be cold. And, the heating guys can't do anything about that because it's not consistent. Right. So the wind's blowing one way, it's blowing in cold air. Wind's blowing the opposite way, it's blowing cold air in the other side, so their heater's kicking on and heating your side.
Oh, man.
So it's not consistent.
It's like a game of tug of war.
Yeah.
My mind instantly goes to casinos for some reason. Like, they would be probably one of the number one people who would want air-bearing control in their buildings.
Do they allow smoking in casinos?
Anymore? I have no idea.
Okay.
Yes, they do. Yeah, they sure do.
Okay, then they want a lousy air barrier.
Oh, they won't?
Because otherwise it'll be just all smoke filled.
Oh.
You got to understand that, you do need some air movement. You just don't need as much as you've got. But with smoking, everybody's smoking in there. You want air to move around and you want it to go out. But I understand that Native Americans are very into energy efficiency and solar and the whole gamut there. So, but yeah, casino would be one place that you'd kind of walk away from.
Okay.
Unless they had a good controlled ventilation system and enough air changes per hour, which is how often the air changes every hour.
And air and oxygen is probably like one of the number one most important parts of quality that I need that we all need to live.
Yeah, without oxygen, we don't last long. Yeah. We can go without water for quite a while and without food for a long while. But oxygen, that's something you need right away.
Immediately. Good. Yeah. That just brings one of our fun questions that we ask here. Some days I feel like David Letterman. I don't know if any of our listeners remember who David Letterman was.
Oh, yeah.
He always had the top 10 list. And that was my favorite part of the show. And so we have a couple of questions. We don't have 10, but we have a couple top questions we ask on the show. And one of them is, what does quality mean to you?
Well, quality means a lot different after I had a spinal cord injury. So quality to me is just being alive and being able to walk. I was in the hospital for 44 days and kept telling the doctors I was going to walk out of there, and they kept shaking their heads. And, all but one person, my main nurse, just, don't get your hopes too high. Don't do this, don't do that. And keeping you down. And I says, I'm going to walk out of here. And about halfway through the stay, the doctor had told one of the nurses at the meeting that I think he's going to walk out of here. That was my big day. Really got motivated after that.
Wow. How did you get to the spinal injury?
I fell backwards on a bed, and my spine is oval instead of circular. So it didn't take much of a bang to hurt the nerves. So I was in one hospital for a week, and they were afraid of me because they didn't have any spinal cord doctors there, so they wanted to get me out as soon as they could.
Oh, gosh.
So there were several places that that specialized in my situation, and you have to get approved. So, if they don't think they can do anything for you, or like one said it would be 2 weeks, then they could get me in. And I told them, I says, well, the next person that says they can get me in, just say yes and we'll go.
Okay.
So Freighter in Milwaukee, which is also a college and a hospital. Advantage of a college is they have to keep up on what's going on all the time. So they're much better at everything because they're teaching the residents how to do the new stuff. So the doctors have to really keep up more so than they would have to in a normal practice.
That's nice.
But yeah, I got there completely immobile, couldn't do anything, had to get fed and everything. I could talk.
Wow.
Drinking out of a straw, and slow but sure with speech therapy. The speech therapy was actually for eating, to empty your mouth before you take another bite so you don't choke on it. They make sure you don't die.
Yeah. Holy heavens.
Then the air problems.
Exactly. The oxygen.
The oxygen stuff.
Yeah. Wow. So you were completely immobile.
Yes, I was completely immobile. They, had lots of different tools that you could use. Big handles that would go on spoons so I could start to learn to feed myself. A handle on my toothbrush. Teach me how to brush my teeth. You had to relearn everything. They'd roll me around in bed every 2 or 3 hours to keep me moving from bed sores and stuff like that. And physical therapy twice a day, every day but Sunday. Then Sunday I'd go down there and play anyway, just to get in shape. Of because I knew that, you can't. The worst thing you do is lay in bed. And that's what they had me doing for the first week. So I was already at a disadvantage. So I did finally walk out of there, though.
That is remarkable. That's a miracle.
Oh, absolutely.
And a mindset. You have a strong will, and you had to be willing to do the work to get yourself.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different tests to get out of the hospital. They make you get in and out of a car, make sure you can do it, make sure you can get up off the floor. And they had this goofy way they wanted me to get off the floor, and I, move your foot like this and do this. And I says, can I do it my way? She says, go for it. So I used my elbows, and I crawled right up onto the mat and turned around in 2 seconds. But it was easy because my elbows worked. And my hands didn't, but I could with my elbows. So I just crawled right up and turned around. And, you have to, be able to eat, be able to feed yourself, get dressed, just the basics of living.
Right. And I'm hearing you had to be able to speak up for yourself. You had to be your own cheer team and to tell them that you were going to do this and you had your way that you knew was working no matter what the doctors or the guides or the people said. You knew deep inside that you were being guided to make it no matter what they said.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to be spending the rest of my life in bed.
No, yeah,
I'd rather
advocate.
be dead.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Exactly.
Because that's some are holding on to that sliver of quality of just maybe being in a state of bliss in their bed. I'm not really sure. I know I've been there myself and I couldn't handle it. And, it's best to get up.
Do something.
Get up and do something, even if you're just staring out the window, just to, go for a walk, even if it's back and forth to the bathroom.
Yes.
It's a huge accomplishment.
Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And where are you now with your rehabilitation?
Well, I had my goal of walking a half a mile.
Mm-hmm.
I met the goal.
Whoa.
And then I kind of froze. You meet your goal, and, instead of setting a new one and saying, okay, I want to run a mile, I kind of fell back into laziness and said, okay, I can walk half a mile. And we walk almost every day. We go to the different beaches here in Brookings because they're just awesome.
Yeah.
And see what's happening.
Yeah.
And so we normally walk a half a mile. We always had mall walking in Wisconsin.
Oh.
The weather's real bad, so you'd walk in the malls before it opened.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And there are no malls here. Indoor mall where the aisles is indoor.
Right.
And it's climate controlled, so it's hot, it's just like Brookings. It's always the same temperature.
Right. Exactly.
But then I realized that, when it's raining and nasty and windy out, we can go to Fred Meyer and just walk there.
Exactly.
That's a big store. That's a lot of walking. So
Yep. If you get tired, ride the elevator.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we decided we're going to do on bad days. We just figured it out a little bit ago.
How many, so if you go around up and down all the aisles and around the whole outside and upstairs, how much?
Oh, I have no idea. Chetco Point takes me half an hour.
Okay.
To walk, to park, and then walk all the way up to the point, around the point, and then back down again. That's my half-hour walk.
Okay.
City Beach, that's a little bit less. Walk out to the point and then all the way up and down it. That's kind of the most interesting beach because.
Which one is that?
Right downtown in Harbor.
Oh,
I can't think of the name of it.
They call it the Harbor, the Jetty, Sports Haven, the City Point. Where the RVs are at, right in front of the beach.
Right, yes, the RVs, and you can walk right by the beach.
Yeah.
And I like blacktop because it's easy to walk on.
Okay.
So I like the blacktop. One day we got there and it was all mulch all over the beach. And it was so weird. It was, the bark of trees and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And what had happened was the snow has melted and that got washed down into the river.
Right.
And up on the beach, and then 2 weeks later it's gone.
Oh, man.
One day we came there, all full of pelicans. There must have been 1,000 pelicans out in the water, and then gone. I saw them one day. Brookings sounds like a really good place for recovery and rehabilitation. How far were you with your injury when you got here? Did it happen when you were here or before? Oh, no, it happened almost 2 years ago now.
Okay.
So, it's almost 2 years ago, and it's, took about probably half a year at least to get to half an hour or about half an hour walking.
Wow. And how many years have you been in Brookings?
Oh, we just got here.
You just got here?
Yeah, we came in March. I thought we were coming to look at houses, and my wife was coming to buy. And after what she went through with basically being my nurse in the hospital because there's a nurses shortage and everything else, so she really got me through it. It's like, okay, it's her turn. So we looked at a dozen houses, and all with the ocean view, and we were staying in our Airbnb with an ocean view. And then we saw the condos at the end of Moore Street and could see the beach right there below us. And it was like, if we buy anything else, we're going to wish we wanted this view. So we bought that instead, and didn't want a condo because of the extra money, the condo fees, but then found out that covers, outside maintenance, the roof, the siding, the windows.
Oh, really?
The insurance for the main building. So we only pay a little bit of insurance because the condo is covering the structure out. So we're only covering from the drywall in.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's still the kitchen cabinets and the flooring and interior doors and stuff like that, light fixtures and that kind of stuff, but it's not the whole building. So you're only, we're only insuring $100,000 instead of $500,000.
Wow, that's a huge difference.
Yeah, and then so the condo takes care of that, and then there's no maintenance. There's no, yeah, we don't have any lawns to cut, and we're, in our 70s, so
yeah,
we don't need that anymore.
What a miracle!
Yeah.
One of your other favorite places in Brookings?
Oh yeah, when we were here in March to buy a building, to buy our home, we actually saw whales.
Whales?
Yep. And my brother spotted one at the spout. And actually, this week was the first week that Sandy saw a whale. I didn't get to see it. I was there, but, you got to be looking at the right spot at the right time. And so she saw a whale. Azalea Park, we enjoy in all year round, but the concerts are real nice in the summer. We go to the afternoon concerts.
Yes.
Favorite places in Brookings, there's a lot of them. We've been to every beach you could, around, in and around Brookings and go to different ones. And
for someone who's working through injury or working on feeling better about themselves, that you recommend the trails and the oceans around here?
Oh, absolutely. And depending on how good your walking is, then at the harbor is a really great beach for walking because it's concrete.
Exactly.
Ketco Point is really good because that's blacktop, and they just fixed it. By the way, they had a section out for all winter, but it's all blacktop now.
Oh,
and
nice.
Then up north, Harris Beach. There's two beaches at Harris. There's Harris Beach and there's Harris Beach State Park.
Okay.
Harris Beach State Park has a wheelchair ramp going down to it, so it's easier for people to get to. The other one, Harris Beach, is much harder to get to. Then Secret Beach, it's really for four-wheel drives. Then the next beach, Lone Ranch Beach, has a walking path around it that's all paved. So those are the things I'm kind of looking for.
Awesome.
Because I don't pick up my feet enough.
Yeah, well, we want to thank Sandy majorly for all the support she's done, too, to get you there.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good to have a buddy and a support system and a beautiful wife that you've had for so many years, so tell her thank you.
Okay.
Oh, man. All right, you said something really smart earlier, because I asked if you were a contractor, and you said yes. You said the architect, and I was asking what part you did with the buildings, and you said if an architect.
Okay, yeah. If you were asking if I was an architect or an engineer, and I said no, I was a contractor.
Right.
Okay, and the difference is that if an architect built buildings, they would look great, but they'd fall over. If engineers built buildings, they would be a square box, but they'd stand forever. So the engineer actually does the structure of the building and make sure it doesn't fall down. The architect is one that makes it look good. And then the contractor is the one that takes the information from them and actually builds what has to be built from the blueprints.
Puts it all together.
Yes.
Nice. Makes it tangible, a real item.
Yeah.
Something that people can walk into.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice. Fantastic. Do you have any advice for our listeners of peaceful support, of what's the best, from your experience, of how to, when they're faced with something, when the doctors are telling them this, that, or the other thing, what would you say to somebody.
Don't listen to them. I mean, don't let them tell you what you can and can't do. I mean, I'm 70 years old and, been in good health all my life and, reasonably active. I mean, not a weightlifter or anything like that, but, with construction, you're, 10,000 steps a day is normal. So, you just don't believe them. You just know what you can do and tell them what you think, and the heck with what they think. I mean, Western medicine's really gone bad from trying to make everything fixable with a pill.
Right.
For surgery,
Yeah.
It's missed all of what India and China has to teach us.
What part worked best for you?
Explain that.
With getting through that.
Oh, well, I'm making a little progress every day.
Right. Okay. And showing them.
Yeah. And then, we do range of motion. So we were taught, the nurses taught my wife how to do range of motion. So we did range of motion every morning and every night. And I'm still doing it to this day, but when I wake up in the morning, before I have my coffee. If you have your coffee, then it's too late.
Right.
gives you a reason to have your coffee.
Yeah.
And then before I go to bed, then I do range of motion also to keep the muscles moving, and that keeps them from atrophying.
Smart. Phenomenal. Well, listeners, this is Jeff Knutson, and we've been talking about air barriers to buildings.
Yes.
And the importance and the quality of air and oxygen and energy efficient buildings, along with the quality of living being exactly that, to live, and the ability to live, to walk, to breathe. The simplest things we forget sometimes. And so I really, really wholeheartedly want to thank you for reminding us that of these gifts that we all have, that we have to work for. They're not just handed to us, and sometimes they're taken away. And we have to keep working at them. So thank you for reminding us, Jeff.
Okay, well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. And enjoy your walks and keep up the yoga, and we'll see you out there at the ocean.
Okay, thank you much.
Of course.
See you on the beach.
All right. Thank you, listeners.